Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you Oermen versus AmberT in round 1 of the 5th Asia Pacific tournament. Today we are seeing Bois de Limors, and on the allied side the 1st Pancerna under command of Oermen, and on the Axis side the Festung Gross-Paris. So this is a very interesting map for sure, and one that I don't think particularly suits either division. They match up very interestingly on this map for sure. So let's talk through that. Let's just dissect the division matchup just a little bit. So on the side of the 1st Pancerna you have Streltsy and Dragoni in Phase A. No significant infantry for fighting at the 100-meter range. On the side of the Festung, you have Beveraungs, you have the Feldgendarmerie, and you have Landesschützen. Now, Landesschützen can be used en masse to sort of really overwhelm your opponent if you choose to go down that line. The other thing you can do is use Beveraungs and sort of still overwhelm them, but more with unit strength rather than number of units. So that's because they have 15 men in a squad, and that makes them particularly hard to get rid of. But when it comes down to this infantry matchup early on, I think we will see obviously a lot of influence from Hurricanes. They will help pin down the Festung's infantry early. And if there's just a couple of Streltsy squad, for example, trading with Beveraungs, neither is really going to get pinned down very quickly, so the Hurricanes should have targets and will be able to strafe in time to give the 1st Pancerna a little bit of an advantage in the forest engagements. And the reason I'm talking about obviously infantry engagement so much is because it's Bois de Limors and there's a lot of forest to fight through. Moving into Phase B, it's going to turn into Superzi versus ROA. Now the availability of ROA will likely be higher than the availability of Superzi. Now the Superzi though will probably beat any infantry squad by pinning it down. So that's something that Oermen is going, or not Oermen, AmberT is going to have to manage with his command infantry. But Feldgendarmerie, if he keeps them alive, have a huge command radius, and he can exploit that quite nicely, keeping them at a safe distance, whilst his high strength squads can really soak the damage. But let's see what's actually going down here. So on the side of AmberT, he is going to be going for multiple Panzerjägers. He's got 2 here, accompanying 3 units of Beveraungs towards the forest, accompanied by a Feldgendarmerie. Further down, it's going to be 2 more Beveraungs with another Feldgendarmerie. There's going to be some Landesschützen here with an AT gun, and there's 2 more Panzerjägers further up, looks like accompanied by more Landesschützen. Now I know that AmberT absolutely loves these Panzerjägers. He uses them a lot with the 352nd, and it's actually something I've seen him have quite a lot of success with. So we'll have to wait and see if he can find success with the Festung as well, using a Panzerjäger 35 strategy. Those Panzerjägers though can be very strong at the mid-range engagement. They gain quite a lot of AP, and since they have a lot of firepower, a lot of rate of fire even, they can definitely punish units that fall into their line of sight. Now on the side of Oermen, it looks like he's still deciding what he wants to do here, adjusting his strategy, deleted all of his units. I think he was initially going to go for a push on the top side, which in my opinion might be a better idea. But instead it's going to be shifting to the bottom side here, bringing in a Cromwell 5 and a Stuart 5. Now one thing you could try and do is push in Streltsy to these forests, and then try and have the edge of the forests covered by Stuart, these Stuart 5s. That will sort of allow you to use the 30 cal machine guns to pin down the infantry that you're fighting. But honestly, better than that would just be relying on Streltsy accompanied by the Hurricanes. I think that would be a more efficient way to push through the forest at least. And then allow your Stuart 5 and the Cromwell 5 to push on the top side, where you can overwhelm the kind of mediocre tanks that the Festung have access to. So their tank tab in Phase A is just a little bit mediocre compared to the first Pancerna. The first Pancernas isn't great either, but the Cromwell 5 could definitely do a lot of damage to things like these Panzerjägers, for example, things like the Panzer 40s and the B1s that they have access to. But it looks like it is going to come down to the infantry engagements in the forest, which is typical of Bois de Limors, so no surprise there. Bavarongs versus Streltsy. I'm assuming that the Bavarongs will absolutely overwhelm the Streltsy. It's going to be up to Oermen to make sure that he has them covered, or at least the open ground areas where these roads are covered by the machine guns of these tanks. He's not really going to be able to contest this blob of trees down the very bottom. And he's not really going to be able to contest this area, since AmberT can get his infantry into here. Same goes for the bottom side. And he's not going to be wanting to take 100 meter range engagements if he's going to be completely outnumbered. So the Bavarongs, they still have, what, 7 HE at the 100 meter range. Streltsy, these guys have 5 HE at the 100 meter range. They kind of suffer because they have one less Sten gun than a standard rifle squad. And that gives them 3 less HE at close range, which is actually very significant for these sort of infantry engagements. So Streltsy in this case are more just used to kind of have the engagement and be cannon fodder. And that's what they're going to be in the mid here very shortly. As the Bavarongs start to open up, the double Panzerjäger start firing. Those Streltsy do not have any command nearby and could find themselves surrendered. Now the Hurricane is going to be coming in, trying to pin the Bavarongs. But since the Streltsy are just completely outnumbered, they can't really help very much. On the top side here, the Stuart 5 is going to go down to the Panzerjägers, and immediately a very nice kill there for AmberT leaves the Cromwell 5 exposed. Command has disappeared, so the Streltsy may find themselves overwhelmed as well. It's really going to come down to this Hurricane right now. That can stop the Streltsy in the mid being surrendered. But can it stop these ones from being? I think these ones are just gone, right? As soon as they get pinned, they're surrendered. Now it's up to this Cromwell 5 to just get out of there, but currently driving towards an AT gun, probably not the right way to go. It's only a matter of time until that Pak 38 finds a kill, and it's going to be the second shot as the Cromwell 5 tries to turn around and get away from that. Not today. 54% territory lead in favour of AmberT is now bringing up some SDKFZ 10-4s, and those will help control the Hurricane Mark IV suppression here. So I really like the investment of early AA from AmberT. Very smart thing to do, especially since Hurricane Mark IV's strafing your units can be extremely annoying and hard to deal with. So Bavarongs have dealt with the Streltsy here. The Panzerjäger 35Rs have pretty much used up the majority of their HE shells. Bavarongs making ground on the bottom side here. Again, just in general, like Bavarongs, not only do they have the 2-star veterancy compared to the unvetted Streltsy, but having an extra 2 HE at close range is just going to give them the advantage every time, let alone the fact that they're 15-man squads compared to the 10-man squads. Now a Staghound here I think actually is a pretty smart choice. Staghounds do have the turret, of course, and a relatively fast aim time, so can pick off these Panzerjägers at close range. But 2 versus 1 could be an issue if Oermen allows that to happen. Now even more 250 or 10-4s coming in. We're actually even seeing the BMW R75 arriving. It's not often you see the motorbikes come in, but in this case going to be used at the top side to accompany the 2 Panzerjäger 35s up there. Now Bavarongs engaging the Streltsy. Feldgendarme might also look to get involved. They do have 12 HE at close range, so nothing to shy away from. The only risk with getting the Feldgendarmerie directly engaged with an infantry engagement is that they could suffer losses, and it makes them a lot weaker moving throughout the game. to a point where, you know, they lose their effectiveness and get killed off quickly. But in this case, well, Strelzy, looks like they're going to be pinned down. At least one squad is. The second one is waiting to be so as well in the face of the Feldgendarmerie. Third Beveraungs is on its way, and that's going to be 2 units of Strelzy dealt with there very easily indeed. And honestly, it's going to make it very hard for these Staghounds to push aggressively onto the Panzerjägers, since the Beveraungs do have the AT weapon at 100 meter range. Now, Panzerjäger, oh, didn't quite get the shot off before the Staghound. I mentioned their fast aim time, and in this case, the Staghound proving that. Gets the first shot, gets the kill. The Beveraungs do reveal themselves, but get a second AT grenade off. Ooh, Panzerjäger coming in here is going to be covered by the command from the Feldgendarmerie. Oh, it's not going to matter though. Staghound though finds a second kill onto the Panzerjäger, and that is very significant indeed. Feldgendarmerie need to find this AT hit, but do not. And the Feldgendarmerie now under pressure as well. Oermen is going to back off. That is incredible. Those 2 Panzerjäger kills are very, very nice, and that is exactly why I was praising the choice of the Staghound at close range. So that takes off the AT capabilities of AmberT slightly, but does not stop AmberT from killing his infantry, and that is exactly what he's going to continue to do. Up here we can see the 6-pounder did kill one of the Panzerjägers, almost killed the second. I think he got an ammo storage hit. Beveraungs in the face of the Staghound and the carrier here, they're going to get taken down to 1- and 2-man squads. The Feldgendarmerie, where are they going? Getting your 2-star command infantry killed like that is very careless from AmberT. You want to keep those alive as long as you can, just because that huge command radius is so significant. It allows you to maintain command onto multiple units at once, and works very well in these forest situations where 2 can cover the entire area here. But now just down to 1 left. Beveraungs on the bottom side here going to be covered by that. Beveraungs on the top have been taken down to just a few men each. More infantry reinforcement would be ideal for this topside forest right now. IG-18 going to be trying to get into position up here. Landesschützen engaging the Dragoni. Beveraungs, they are going to be engaging the command infantry out of Oermen, but still in the face of the 2 30 cals of the Staghound, and while it's not the 3 30 cals of the Stuarts, it's still enough to do a significant amount of damage and suppression. So the Beveraungs getting absolutely hammered there. However, these ones coming in, killing off the command infantry is quite significant. But again, another Staghound pins down the Beveraungs. And having these engagements close to the edge of the tree lines is really not helping AmberT at all right now. He needs to be very careful that he doesn't lose the ground he currently has, because controlling this forest is pretty much a free pass throughout this game. And well, +1 still sitting in favour of AmberT, looks set to continue, unless Oermen can maybe find some ground elsewhere, because I feel like until it's phase B, it's just going to be an absolute struggle contesting the forest. You could honestly ignore the forest if you committed way more to the top side of the map. And that's kind of what I was hoping for with like some armor up here. But at the moment, just a Stuart 5, which may not be significant to get the job done on its own. 6-pounder is going to open up and kill the Panzerjäger, so that's nice. Maybe the Stuart 5 now does have a chance. With 2 Panzerjägers dying on the top side, 2 Panzerjägers dying on the bottom side, surely that lets Oermen know that there is a lack of AT vehicles on the side of AmberT. However, Beveraungs here are going to be getting off their H3, but does not hit the mark. Staghound able to get away from that, but not get away from the SPW 204 that at close range does do a similar job to the Staghound. Aims quickly, kills fast. Strelzy also get pinned down, but Verlong's going to possibly surrender those. Hurricane is coming in again here. The motorcycle, command motorcycle, does get taken out. In the mid, AmberT suffering some issues in the face of those Strelzy. But the AA half-track is going to get involved in taking out the Zwiadowsi at least. PancernaMG in the face of the Staghound. Staghound should be able to find the kill. Gets the engine destroyed. Should clean that up soon enough. Panzer 40 going to be coming in to provide some more command here, as well as just a solid tank that can support infantry at close range. More infantry going to be called in now that we're into phase B. And the Pak-38 did get taken out there pretty much for free. IG-18 is still trying to do work on this top side, but is struggling. Panzerjäger has been brought in to replace the ones that were lost, but the addition of another Stuart 5 could make this very difficult for AmberT right now. He's losing ground on the top side. 6-pounder does squeeze forwards here, takes out the 10-4 anti-air piece in the mid. Lander shoots in, pinning the Strelzy for now though. So yeah, I'm surprised that AmberT really let a lot of his Beverlongs die unnecessarily. The fact that they got so low on men is completely AmberT's fault. But Stuart 5s there, they do actually manage to clean out that Panzerjäger, and that leaves a nasty hole in the defense of AmberT on this top side. Stuart 5 is going to be taking on the IG-18. There is a B2 running up the road, but is that going to be enough? I'm not entirely sure it is. A Stug 3G here is definitely what's required. And I like to see some more significant armor on the way that has the potential to kill off these Stuarts. However, Beverlongs, 100 meter range, can get AT onto the Stuart 5. Wow. Oermen lucky he's not getting close enough there just yet. To keep an eye out elsewhere, especially as these infantry come into the bottom side. Stuart 5 now engaging the B2. B2 though, very difficult for the Stuart 5 to penetrate, and while the B2 can penetrate a Stuart 5 quite easy, especially since they only have 5 front armor compared to the 7 AP of the B2. Beverlong's taking out a carrier there. Hurricane Mark IV loses its target. I feel like this Hurricane Mark IV, it was great until the investment of like multiple AA pieces from AmberT. But I guess now that a lot of these AA pieces are falling, it's actually going to make it easier for this Hurricane Mark IV to do quite a lot of damage. You could even invest in multiple Hurricane Mark IVs to just strafe these 10-4s to death. That could happen, honestly. But Superzi are being invested upon. Those are going to be arriving to tackle the Beverlongs and enemy infantry at close range. Like I mentioned at the start, Superzi versus ROA, a very likely matchup we were going to see. And that's exactly how it's going to be. But if AmberT does have the vehicle advantage in the forest, then it's going to make it difficult for the Superzi to use their napalm effectively. Now a D520 has been invested upon, almost takes out the Hurricane Mark IV. A second one is going to be coming in. Wow, that's going to be 2 Hurricane Mark IV shot down here by T520s. That's incredible. Look at him go. Not often you see these D520s used well, but that is certainly a show of force there by AmberT, bringing those in, shooting down the Hurricanes, taking one more answer out of Oermen's playbook. And now the ROA swiftly cleaning up Strelzy. At longer ranges, 4HE is not significant, but as soon as the PP, the Piepischer gets involved, then things go downhill for enemy infantry. Stuart 5 cleans up that recon. Things honestly looking pretty bad for AmberT. Yes, he has forest control, but there is this salient of the Strelzy on the very bottom side, And there's also a salient of Chelsea on the top side. The Stuart 5 Recon is sitting behind this tree line very nicely and preventing the B2 and Stug 3 from pushing aggressively without risk. There's also an AT coming in to secure that. The Oermen's looking to overtake AmberT's score very soon. Now the Bewährungs, they're going to be engaging the Dragoni. Can't really afford to sit in the face of the Staghound fire. Perzi going to be trying to flame out the 204. Fortunately the 204 is enclosed. That doesn't mean that the 204 can't be panicked by flames. It does get very hot in a tank if it's covered in flames. And that's not a place you want to be. Get cooked alive. So it's really up to these ROA. Now the ROA, compared to the Bewährungs, they actually have Faustpatrons, which are much more effective at taking out things like half-tracks than Staghounds, because they have that extra 50-meter range, which makes all the difference. Now Perzi here, since they were already a little bit pinned down by that Faustpatron hitting the target, aren't going to be forced back by the ROA. But in general, Perzi at the 100-meter range should win against ROA pretty significantly due to the pinning effect that the flamethrower has. Now the B2 here going to be pinned at close range by the Stuart 5 and does get killed because of that. That is unfortunate for AmberT, and he is going to have to win this tree line before he pushes through onto the Stuart 5. Also with the backup of a 17-pounder, things could get very difficult for AmberT if he wants to push back. But since he does have air supremacy, it might not be long until we see the investment into some bombers, which will allow him to pin and then surrender multiple units at once. And that's really a good power that the Festung has, but those bombers can be quite expensive in 1v1s. Now the Staghound was taken out here, which allows the ROA to continue their close range engagements without having the fire of those 30 cows. So Perzi are going to be able to engage the ROA here and start to pin them. Like I mentioned, Perzi at close range should win those engagements quite significantly, but a 2 versus 1 is going to mean that Perzi gets shot to pieces, and the ROA just doing so much work. Another M5 half-track going to get hit by a Faustpatron anytime soon. Perzi possibly get pinned down because of that, but maybe not quite. Instead, they're just going to get absolutely wrecked in the open as they try and find cover, taken down to one man and absolutely annihilated so damn quick. ROA going to be stopping firing with the Faustpatron. Wow, those ROA have done so much damage. And Oermen continuously putting more resources into this forest, I feel is really hurting his real opportunity to take more ground on this top side. With a couple of Cromwell 5s, I feel like there would be an easy opportunity to maybe strafe, bomb, or arty this Stug 3 and overwhelm it and take even more ground up here. But instead, Oermen's getting very much bogged down by this infantry engagement. And that's something that Bois de Limors does to a lot of people. It's like the forest that just draws you in and kills off half of your units. It's not the most efficient place to fight over. It takes ages to make ground, when instead, you know, elsewhere is not only less defended, but is easier to push through due to it being more open ground. It gives you the ability to use tanks as support, whereas in close range engagements like the forest, that is just not the case. So here I would say to Oermen, be satisfied with just holding on to this forest area, maybe cover the roads with a couple of Staghounds, but then put the rest of your resources into the top here. Now Panzer IV-H does get internal fragmented by the 6-pounder in the mid. Double D520 going to be coming in for the strafing run. They are going to be hitting the mark briefly. We're going to be pulling away from that engagement as 2 Hurricane Mark 4s come in on the side of Oermen. But with some AA on the field, looks like AmberT may look to play around that. We'll have to wait and see. A third D520 coming out on the side of AmberT. I find it very interesting that AmberT uses a lot of these D520s, but in this case it's working out very well indeed. It's taken out another Hurricane. That's the third one down. This is going to be the fourth. And Oermen is going to have no Hurricanes left to stop the Ju-188s that AmberT has the potential of bringing in. That's if he actually has them on his division, because at the moment it seems like he mainly invests in the D520s. But they've done a lot of work and we can't really complain. Bevellongs and ROA trying to push up now. What you want to do is get this universal carrier into a position whereby it can cover the road, whether it be like here or here. I don't know, just somewhere where it can fire across the road if it needs to, even here if it has to be. Just out of range of the Faustpatron, but in range and in line of sight to use its machine gun. That's the ideal location. On the top side, things not really going too well. Bevellongs are overrunning the Stralsee with the assistance of the 251. There hasn't been anything else brought up here to sort of reinforce. A 17-pounder could actually, I think, be moved into line of sight of the Stug, which would be a nice idea, because that might be an easy kill to get, honestly, and then would allow the Stuart and the half-track to break through and make some ground. So a lot of chance still for Oermen to make ground himself, but I feel like he's falling under the pressure that AmberT is putting into this engagement on the bottom side. And well, just look at this. Look at the amount of infantry that's being stacked up here. That's like one Hurricane bombing strike and job done. But there's just nothing really to stop this infantry from pushing across the open right now. And with the universal carrier actually being killed, it's going to make things even more difficult. Because there's nothing to surrender, say if a Hurricane bomber did come in anyway. Now the Superzi have work to do. They are going to take out one unit. They definitely do a lot of damage to the other ROA. Might even kill off the remaining units here. But they are seemingly being overwhelmed. And with the KM Fiora not far behind, yeah, Superzi are going to have to fall back. Those KM Fiora also do quite a lot of damage themselves with the 10 HE at long range, 8 HE at close range. ROA making ground on the bottom as well. They are going to be able to get their Faustpatron in line of sight of the Staghound shortly. And yeah, I just feel like basically Oermen needs to forget about the forest and just completely look towards this top side. But saying that, the Stuart 5 did go down. It looks like the Stug 3 was used to find line of sight onto that Stuart and kill it off. And I'm kind of disappointed because yeah, Oermen definitely had a strong chance up here. Like holding that massive salient for so long is a big indicator that there's limited amount of forces of your opponent to push you back. But now, with the grasp on this forest, AmberT is going to be looking for his +1 at the 52% territory lead. If he can clean up the Stralsee here in the 6-pounder, I think that will push him to 52%. Also, just finding more ground with the ROA would help. If he stops letting the ROA be killed on the edge of the tree line there. Ooh, nice ambush from the 6-pounder. He's going to take out the SPW-204. D520s do help strafe that 6-pounder to death. Panzer 40 finishes it off. There is the Cromwell 6 getting involved, and that might be able to force back the Panzer 40. But what would be better is if this Panzer 40 just kills off that half-track and allows the ROA to finish off the Dragoni. Panzerschreck has found this Stralsee. The 6-pounder does go down. Can the Panzerschreck win against the Stralsee? I don't think it will. I mean, that is a Sten gun at least. Oh, wow. Actually managed to stay alive. And while the Dragoni actually got surrendered there. And in the mid, well, Tiger E comes in and smashes that universal carrier. So, +1. Now in favour of AmberT with those units being cleaned up. ROA just trying to get into a position where they have line of sight onto these half-tracks. You probably want to keep them in the forest rather than on the road. Especially as all of those Dragoni do unload in your face. You want to maintain the heavy cover bonus so that the infantry don't get killed off immediately. But in this case, I don't think it's really going to matter. Like, that's just too many Dragoni for the ROA to deal with right now. Needs some reinforcements. On this top side, Stug 3 is under fire from the 17 pounder. The 17 pounder has plenty of time on target. Can it find the kill? Like I said before, if that Stug 3 goes down, there is a serious opportunity for some ground to be made up here. But another Tiger E on the way. So that's going to be covering it off after the Stug 3 is now gone down. On the bottom side, Stuart 5 going to be trying to take advantage of some of these ROA. Firefly 1C in the mid is looking for the close range engagement with a Panzer IV-H and a Tiger E. D520 is going to be strafing the 17 pounder in the meantime. So this is the engagement we've got to look out for. If the Firefly can kill the Panzer IV and the Tiger, then that would be really good. But in this case, Panzer IV is going to fire first. Does find the track wheel damage. It's going to fire second, or first or second time round as well. Panzer IV-H gets the kill. Ju-188 was brought in. There's nothing to really counter it other than AA. And this Crusader AA Mark IIB just not in range in time. Doesn't stop the bombing strike. Firefly goes down nonetheless. And that is just AmberT cleaning up that Firefly so damn easy. And it leaves Oermen in a very hard position, because now this Panzer IV and the Tiger E can push across this bridge. He's got the Aufklärer to scout out AT guns, and yeah, he's also got the T520s to strafe them. So it's interesting to see that AmberT is ending up strafing Oermen when the first Pancerna is known for their strafing gameplay. Definitely being shown how to use the Festung here by AmberT. The Panzerjägers at the start really didn't do too much, but still had a strong presence and provided a lot of pinning power with their HE shells against infantry squads. So they weren't completely useless, but not the best use of Panzer 35s that I've ever seen. This Tiger E is looking for the shot onto the Cromwell 6, is going to be aiming and finding that shot. Is going to one-shot the Cromwell 6, job done. Panzer IV-H now going to be looking for the attack move across the river. ROA just completely securing the forest now. 55% territory lead in favour of AmberT, and on top of that, the top side is being cleaned up by AmberT as well. There is a Firefly 5C now on the way. That will be able to stop the fire support from the 251, but whether or not it can find a kill onto the Tiger E remains to be seen, and whether or not Oermen actually takes advantage of that kill also remains to be seen. In the meantime, AmberT continues to make ground on the bottom side, especially with these half-tracks dying to the Faust patrons of the ROA. Panzer IV-H also just aggressively moving through. Will get spotted by the 6-pounder, but the 6-pounder is spotted itself and will be bombed by the Ju-188 regardless of the AA that is hitting it. So the Panzer IV-H should be able to find a kill there if the Speertroop move up and spot that. But in the meantime, AT gun is going to be bought by Oermen. It's also bringing up a Firefly 5C. This 17 pounder has got a lot of work to do. I feel like there's going to be a bomber coming in as soon as that 17 pounder gets spotted. But wow, one shot there onto the Tiger E. Nice kill indeed. Now needs to one shot the Panzer 40 and the Panzer IV-H. Moving into this tree line could be a mistake. I feel like you'd be better off attack moving downwards rather than exposing yourself to both tanks at the same time. Tiger's making ground up here though. Does kill off the 17 pounder. That's not going to kill his Tiger on the top. 17 pounder does reveal itself to the Panzer IV. Actually one-shots the Panzer IV. Really nice kill. Finds itself pinned down in the face of the Panzer 40 though, and the Aufklärer quickly running that down. D520 does get forced back by the Bofors on the top side, but two on the bottom side are not going to be. And now the Firefly 5C going to be coming under the fire of those machine guns and cannons. Not really too much damage done there to the Firefly though. Kind of just shrugged off that strafing run and killed the Panzer 40 in the process. There is a lot of ground to make back here for Oermen, and a +2 in favour of AmberT is counting up AmberT's score quite quickly indeed. So a tale of missed opportunities really for Oermen. He was sort of maintaining the push of AmberT in the forest quite well, but just got outlasted by the infantry availability that AmberT had. Also, I feel like he could have microed his Superzi a little bit better to give them a bit more value for money. Maybe even using them to double team AmberT's infantry. However, on the top side, yeah, definitely a strong chance of taking out that Stug 3 earlier on. And that would have really opened the door to push all the way through and secure these really awkward buildings. So these barn buildings, for example, and this random house. Just all of these places are just fantastic for just putting like Dragoni squads in and just being a real pain in the ass. In this case though, Panzergren's being aggressive on the top side now. Firefly might look for the attack onto the Tiger E, but the Tiger E, if it's facing the right direction, can aim pretty quick. And that would be a risky engagement for sure. Alfred still spotting the 17-pounder, I believe, but are going to be killed off. Get caught in the open. But without any more Superzi, what can Oermen really do down here? Probably nothing. I don't think you will have any Superzi left at this point either. So the push really needs to come on the top if he wants to make back ground, but I mean, with the disparity in forces across the map, it's looking well in favour of AmberT, for sure. Now, Cromwell 6 does pin down the Bevierungs. Panzer Grenadiers on the top side get surrendered. That is going to stop a +2 for now. But it's really going to be reliant on like the Stuart 5 to clean up the KM Fiora down here. To do a lot of damage to the ROA and stop those from coming forwards. It's just a lot of stuff that Oermen needs to do. And I don't think he really has the forces to do it all and come out on top. Nor does he really have the time. There's 7 minutes left on the clock. You would have to find a +2. And finding a +2 by pushing through Bois de Limors, that is probably one of the most difficult tasks in Steel Division. Nice 10-4 kill there. It's pretty good. Here comes the triple chain of D520s again. Obviously not half as good at pinning down enemy infantry as the Hurricanes are. But still, relatively decent job done there. Mustang Mark III is going to come in to contest the D520s. All of the D520s actually get pinned by the Bofors, and honestly the Mustang Mark III might shoot down quite a few of them, but Flak 88 saves the day, or the Flak M36, sorry, with the 5HE shell. Manages to hit that Mustang from a hefty distance there. ROA, going to be cleaning up these Dragoni. See these ROA with the Pipasher going to be wrecking the Dragoni. Mustang Mark III though does want to kind of push that in Oermen's favour. Cleans up one ROA. Not going to be able to clean up the second one though. Again, infantry availability is king for the Festung in this matchup. Now the Hummel coming in. That's going to be trying to find the recon. I think it also hit and killed off the Bofors on the top side, so it's going to allow the D520s some breathing room. JU-188 going to be coming in for a bombing strike onto the Stuart 5. Honestly, if the Stuart 5 gets pinned behind enemy lines, then it's not really going to be able to do much. Van Panzer B2 is getting in position to deal with that. Look at it go. It's going to be fast moving to the behind the Hummel. If this Stuart 5 could finally kill onto the Hummel, that would make it totally worth the loss for Oermen, in my opinion. Look at this absolute hero. Just no fucks. Just straight behind the enemy line, driving up to the Hummel, Can he get the job done? The Tiger E Firefly engagement has started. Both of them missing the first shot. Internal fragment for the Firefly versus the Tiger E. That is really, really good. Tiger E being forced back from that engagement does allow the Firefly to continue forwards, but the Stuart 5 is approaching the Hummel. Now this is not an 88, it does not have AP value. So this Stuart 5 going to be easily able to find and possibly kill off the Hummel. This is incredible. Oh no! The Stuart 5 gets pinned by a JU-188 strike and is not going to get that kill today. Oh, that Stuart 5 has a long way back home and I don't think he's going to get there. Plan Panzer B2 on the way to clean things up. Not the fastest response tank in the world, but the tank that AmberT chose, that's for sure. Incredible stuff. Still only a +1 towards the end of the game here for AmberT. Panther D engaging the Firefly 5C at range. This is the ideal way to use a Panther D. Is engagements at range work really well with Panther Ds, whereas engagements at close range work much better with things like Panther Gs because they have the hydraulic turret. That's not to say that engagements at long range don't work for Panther Gs either, as they significantly outclass Fireflies. And that's going to be a crew wounded. Can the next shot do the job? Nope. The crew is going to be able to fall back, and the Panther G will be forced to chase it if it wants to find a kill. So, 2 minutes and 35 seconds left on the clock. AmberT with the significant lead. It looks like the game is pretty much over now. 3 anti-air being brought into this bottom side. That's going to be triple Polston? Not even tri-Polston. I think those are just singular Polstons. Not sure what the purpose of that is. Oermen just having some fun towards the end of the game, I assume. Hummel there. Going to be trying to hammer the command infantry. Double Vofers has been brought in towards the mid. Ooh, double Mustang in the face of the JU-188. A lot of damage, but doesn't quite get the kill. I don't think the Mustangs will either. Although, the triple Polston unloading. Why buy a tri-Polston when you can make your own? Mustang Mark III shoots down the JU-188. Triple D520. I feel like these D520s kind of have the advantage of being slow, which isn't something you'd normally say, but it's definitely going to help them out in the dogfight over time. But Oermen is going to surrender before he sees his Mustang Mark III shot down. And after 38 minutes and 39 seconds, AmberT is victorious with a 3,195 kills for the 2,335 losses. And I think it mainly comes down to the engagement in the forest. Oermen definitely over investing into that engagement. In Phase B, the Zeperzi should have been used defensively in the forest, and then focus on the advantage he had on the top side, where his forces are much better suited for a rapid advance in that territory. But nice kills for the 6-pounder, 2 Panzerjäger 35s and the Befehl BMW R75. The Stag Hounds were a really nice choice actually for the close range engagement versus the Panzerjägers in the forest. So well done by Oermen for identifying that. The Stuart 5 also did pretty nicely there. And the Strelzy, in this case, did trade 2 for 1 against the Bavarians, which isn't something you see very often, but probably just due to them getting pretty low on strength. Whereas what we will see is that the Bavarians, yeah, absolutely hammered the Polish infantry. Panzerjäger did kill off 1 Stuart 5, but yeah, the other Panzerjägers really being very lackluster at the start. Not really the most ideal map for using them, but something that AmberT definitely favours. Pack 38 took out the Cromwell 5 at relatively close range, as the Cromwell 5 got ambitious on the top side of the forest. One D520 got credited for all of the Hurricane Mark IV kills. That is beautiful to see. It's not often these D520s get credited for a lot of kills, but in this case, what an absolute hero. And look at these ROA squads, the damage they can deal. Staghound, Superzi, Dragoni, M5 half-track. 2 Streltsy, Staghound, really, really nice stuff. Panzer IV-H takes out the Firefly 1C at close range in the mid. RAs again just trading so damn well versus this Polish infantry. And regardless of Superzi, I think eventually AmberT would overwhelm. Like regardless, it's just a matter of having units to cover the roads so that the ROA and so on can't advance easily. They would have to have some smoke cover or something in order to get the job done. Tiger Ease did come in, get a couple of kills. I guess he kind of paid himself off there. Maybe not quite. 240 points. I don't think that's quite 240 points. Hummel almost got killed by the Stuart. That would have been absolutely hilarious, but didn't happen in this game, and the Panther G eventually cleaned up the Firefly on the top side. And that was all she wrote. So, AmberT, congratulations to him. Going to be moving on to the second round. Unfortunately for Oermen, he's going to be dropping to the lower bracket. And that's all we have time for. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.